Gervonta Davis, is it just boxing beef or is it real beef? and if so, where did it originate from? I know it's a longer story, but just, whatever you can share.
It's kind of bigger than boxing, I guess you could say, because like the history and like everything that went on. It's hard to even speak on it just because of the fact that we gotta fight. So.
In life, there are those who live to see their dreams come true, like the likes of Tank, and there are those who keep wishing their dreams come true. You know who?
Fight you. Gervonta Tank Davis, let's make the fight happen, man. I'm tired of tweeting, I'm tired of talking about it.
Ever since Shakur became a name in boxing, he has always chased greatness. And for years, he has never stopped.
I guess they wanted to make the fight, and we just told them to send an offer. We ain't hit nothing back yet, but like I said, that fight is gonna happen.
Just recently, Shakur took it all out on Tank for supposedly delaying his fight on a live call, but the end was not as heated, ending with the two coming to a peaceful reconciliation.
You say all of these things, this guy's ducking, this guy, they want to find a person to say that somebody's ducking, but I ain't scared to fight him. He's not scared to fight me.
The beef between Shakur and Tank started after Shakur called out Tank for ducking him in an interview. The comments came just after Tank had secured his win over Ryan Garcia in April 2023. Shakur, never shy about his own ambitions, had been vocal about his desire to fight the biggest names in boxing. He felt that Tank was dodging him, preferring easier matchups over real challenges.
I can't tell y'all. I don't know. Come fight night, I'm coming to do whatever it takes to get the victory.
Tank's avoiding me, I see it, Shakur said in a 2023 interview with ESPN. He's out here fighting guys who can't box at my level. He doesn't want to step into the ring with someone who's going to make him miss and look bad. But it seemed that the tension reached its peak just recently when they both got into a call. Tank, always confident, opened up with a direct jab at Shakur's fighting style. "Bro, you're a runner," Tank fired off.
When you look at potential fights in the sport that could be made, fight between yourself and Tank, would you say that's the biggest potential fight?
You don't even want to fight. All you do is dance around the ring, running away from the action. Ain't nobody paying to see that. Tank's criticism wasn't new. Many fans and analysts had accused Shakur of being too cautious, too defensive, and not willing to engage in the brutal exchanges that fans craved. Shakur, however, had always countered those claims by pointing to his boxing IQ and technical brilliance. His win over Oscar Valdez in 2022, where he thoroughly outclassed the Mexican champion to unify the WBC and WBO titles, was proof that his style worked.
Anybody. He can smell it. So if you show any softness at all, Tank he's gonna sniff it out. And he's gonna take it to Shakur if they do.
You don't understand boxing, man, Shakur shot back. You're just out here throwing haymakers, hoping they land. There's no science in what you do. You rely on power because you can't outthink me in the ring. The argument took an even sharper turn when Shakur brought up Tank's fractured relationship with Floyd Mayweather. Tank had parted ways with Mayweather Promotions in 2022 after years of growing tension. Davis had voiced frustrations with the way Floyd was handling his career, accusing the retired legend of prioritizing his own fame over his fighter's success. "Ungrateful, that's what you are," Shakur said. "Floyd built you, and now you want to throw dirt on his name? You wouldn't be headlining pay-per-views or making the kind of money you do without Floyd. He made you a star."
Say, man, look, man. Your beef is not with Floyd Mayweather. You sitting here beefing with Floyd. It's a fighter out here that's been calling your name that want to fight you.
This struck a nerve with Tank, who had long felt like he was living in Floyd's shadow. While Floyd Mayweather was mentoring him early in his career, the two often butted heads. In fact, their issues became public during Tank's lead-up to the Rolando Romero fight in 2022, where Davis expressed frustration with the way Mayweather was promoting the event.
Second warning. Good here is just counter left hand as the joy of Gervonta.
"Don't speak on stuff you don't know, man," Tank snapped. "Floyd didn't do anything for me that I didn't do for myself. You think just because I used to roll with him that he made me? Nah, I earned this on my own. It's my fists that got me where I am. Floyd ain't knocking people out for me." Tank's passion was clear. His split from Mayweather Promotions was fueled by his desire to stand on his own, to prove that his success wasn't just because of Floyd's guidance, but because of his own hard work and devastating punching power. His KO victories over Santa Cruz, Barrios, and Garcia were seen as statements that he didn't need Floyd to be a superstar. But Shakur wouldn't back down. He respected Floyd, and according to him, he wasn't afraid to call out what he saw as Tank's ingratitude. "You sound real bitter, Tank," Shakur responded. "But at the end of the day, you owe a lot of your success to Floyd. It's like biting the hand that feeds you. You might be good, but you wouldn't be in this position without him." The call wasn't just about old wounds, though. As their exchange heated up, Tank shifted the focus to Shakur's upcoming fight against Joe Cordina, set for October 2024. Cordina, a rising star from Wales, had made a name for himself with his knockout power and aggressive style. "You think you're so slick, but Cordina's gonna crack you," Tank said. "He's gonna catch you, and when he does, you're going down. Mark my words, you're gonna get knocked out in October."
You think Tank washes, you think he washes Frank Martin?
I mean, that's why he fighting him. He's picking and choosing. That's what he do. Tank take the least risk. If Tank was really a risky nigga or this person he claimed to be, he would have fought Edwin De Los Santos.
Tank's prediction is not far-fetched. Cordina had stunned the boxing world in 2022 with a brutal second-round knockout of Kenichi Ogawa to capture the IBF title. His combination of speed and power made him a dangerous opponent, and many felt that Shakur was taking a significant risk by moving up to face him.
Because you've got to do something for him to...
Brilliant right hand! What a right hand!
However, Tank and Shakur have had their peaceful days, and in the call, they seem to be respecting the old days. "Whatever, man. You just do you. We used to train together as kids, and you've done bigger things. Hats off to you, man. We shouldn't be beefing." To which Tank replied, "Don't get me wrong, I ain't beefing with you. You are the one talking shit you don't understand. But if you ask me, you are doing good. There's no reason I got bad blood with you, none. I wished you all the best and still do."
He's strategic. He's setting guys up. He been boxing since a little kid, just like I've been boxing since a little kid. And you can tell, like, with the experience.
Well, it now seems that with that settled, we might not be getting any more heat from them, which is interesting because the last few days have been nothing but heated. Shakur Stevenson is ready to step back into the ring to defend his WBC lightweight world title on October 12th, 2024 in a high-stakes showdown against Joe Cordina.
He mentioned he was at super featherweight, and then he said at a catchweight as well. So, but if I come up to lightweight, there's no need for a catchweight.
The event will take place in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, as part of a grand fight night headlined by the light heavyweight unification bout between Artur Beterbiev and Dimitri Bivol. While this event promises to be an exciting spectacle, Stevenson's fight has already sparked intense debate and criticism, especially with Gervonta Davis's camp fanning the flames. In a recent attempt to mock Stevenson's fight against Cordina, Gervonta Davis's co-trainer Kenny Ellis posted a sarcastic comment on Instagram. He wrote, "Get your tickets now," implying that Stevenson's upcoming bout was unworthy of attention. Ellis's post was seen as a swipe at the quality of the fight, especially considering Cordina's recent performance. Shakur Stevenson, never one to shy away from online battles, quickly fired back. He posted a screenshot of Kenny Ellis's daughter's 7-3 record as a boxer and tagged Ellis with the message, "Simon, coach, stay focused." The jab was a clever dig at Ellis, mocking the fact that 3 defeats in 10 fights was not exactly a glowing record. This exchange on social media only added to the tension that had been brewing between Stevenson's camp and Davis's team for months. However, beneath the surface of this online banter lies an interesting point. Stevenson, who remains undefeated with a record of 22-0-10 knockouts, is eager to rise even higher in the boxing world. But to do so, he needs to shake off the criticisms that have been building after his recent performances against Artem Harutyunyan and Edwin De Los Santos.
Combination jabs of the 3 hands, even with one hand. And instead, this one is going to go the distance.
Although Stevenson managed to secure victories in both fights, his showings were far from dominant, leading some fans to question his standing in the lightweight division. These recent performances have cast a shadow over Stevenson's career, as fans wonder if he's truly capable of living up to his enormous potential. His upcoming fight with Joe Cordina is seen by many as a critical test for Stevenson to regain momentum. especially if he hopes to secure a future mega fight with Gervonta Tank Davis. But the road ahead isn't as clear-cut as it once seemed. Stevenson's decision to face Joe Cordina has been met with harsh criticism. Cordina, while once a formidable fighter, is coming off a devastating 8th-round knockout loss to Anthony Cacacce on May 18, 2024. The 32-year-old Welshman, who held the IBF Super Featherweight World title before his defeat to Cacacce, is now viewed by many as damaged goods. Boxing fans have not held back in expressing their disappointment, accusing Stevenson of cherry-picking a vulnerable opponent who offers little in the way of challenge or prestige. The harshest criticisms have focused on Cordina's knockout loss to Cacacce, which was not just a defeat, but a beating that many believe took something out of Cordina. Cacacce dominated the fight with relentless pressure, landing hard shots and eventually dropping Cordina in the 8th round. Fans argue that no matter how impressively Stevenson performs against Cordina, it won't compare to Cacacce's emphatic victory. Shakur isn't gonna fight like Cacacce, one fan commented online. He's not gonna stand in front of Cordina and trade blows. Shakur's too scared of getting hit. He'll just dance around the ring and box his way to a boring decision win. Well, there's a growing belief that Stevenson's cautious style may not allow him to achieve the kind of definitive victory that would propel him back into the spotlight. While Shakur is undoubtedly a master technician in the ring, he has often been criticized for being too risk-averse. In contrast, Cacacce was willing to take heavy shots from Cordina in exchange for delivering knockout blows of his own. It was that courage under fire that earned Cacacce the knockout, something fans doubt Stevenson is willing to replicate. Despite the naysayers, Stevenson remains confident in his abilities. He knows that Cordina, with his 17-1 record and 9 knockouts, still possesses power and skill. Cordina's losses have come at a high level, and his resilience should not be underestimated. Stevenson's challenge will be to outbox Cordina while avoiding the heavy shots that Cacacce risked taking. But that approach has also earned him labels like runner and boring from his critics, including Gervonta Davis himself, who has long mocked Shakur for his defensive style. The stakes are high for Stevenson. If he wins convincingly, he can continue building towards the dream fight with Gervonta Davis, a showdown that has been brewing for years. But if his performance against Cordina is lackluster, or if he struggles at all, his stock may take another hit. In the brutal world of boxing, even an undefeated record doesn't guarantee respect, and Shakur knows that he must deliver a statement victory to silence his critics. Yet Stevenson is acutely aware that a victory over Cordina won't magically erase his recent struggles. While he successfully defended his WBC lightweight world title against Artem Harutyunyan, it was a fight that left many fans unimpressed. Harutyunyan managed to go the distance with Stevenson, and although the American won by unanimous decision, the lack of a spectacular finish has only fueled the perception that Stevenson's performances are beginning to stagnate. Moreover, Cordina's recent form does little to boost Stevenson's resume. While Cordina once held the IBF Super Featherweight title, his defeat to Cacacce exposed flaws in his game that Stevenson will likely exploit. But for Stevenson, even a win over Cordina might feel hollow given the Welshman's recent fall from grace. However, even with that, the boxing world is talking with excitement as fans and analysts alike anticipate what could become one of the biggest fights in recent history, a mega clash between Gervonta Tank Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Both fighters are undefeated, reigning champions, and in the prime of their careers, making this potential fight an electrifying showdown for the lightweight division. According to Stevenson, the fight is inevitable, and it's not just about titles or records, it's about history. Speaking to his mentor, the former champion Andre Ward, on All the Smoke fight, Shakur Stevenson opened up about the significance of this fight. He believes it transcends the sport of boxing itself. It's kind of bigger than boxing, I guess you could say, because of the history and everything that went on, Stevenson said. His words highlight how much anticipation has built up around the idea of the two champions meeting in the ring. For Stevenson, this isn't just another blockbuster bout, it's a fight fueled by a long-standing rivalry and the shared paths of both men.
Gervonta Davis, is it just boxing beef or is it real beef? and if so, where did it originate from? I know it's a longer story, but just, whatever you could share.
It's kind of bigger than boxing, I guess you could say, because like the history and like everything that like went on. It's hard to even speak on it just because of the fact that we got.
When this fight eventually happens, it will pit two undefeated champions against each other, a rare occurrence that heightens the stakes significantly. Gervonta Davis holds an impressive record of 30, 0 with 28 knockouts, making him one of the most feared punchers in the sport today. On the other side, Shakur Stevenson boasts a perfect record of 22, 0 with 10 knockouts, and holds the WBC title. With Davis being the WBA lightweight champion, a fight between them would not only unify the division, but also elevate the status of the winner as arguably the best fighter in the lightweight category.
Only way you could not fight if one of them guys ain't like that and somebody go off to lose or somebody take an L. But I think like with both of us, we both.
Stevenson is confident that this fight will take place. He believes that it's not a matter of if, but when. I know it's gonna happen, Stevenson vowed to Ward. I'm the best, he's the best. So when you have two guys that's the best, how can you not fight? This statement underscores the inevitability of the fight and reflects Stevenson's desire to prove himself as the best by facing the toughest opponents available.
Got to fight, so at the end of the day.
You feel that's gonna happen?
Yeah, I know it's gonna happen. I mean, I'm the best, he the best. So when you got two guys that's the best, how can you not fight?
For him, there's no way around this matchup unless something unforeseen happens, like one of them suffering a loss before they meet in the ring. Only way you cannot fight is if one of them ain't like that and one of those guys go off to lose or somebody takes an L, Stevenson added. Both fighters are at a point in their careers where a clash could happen sooner rather than later. Stevenson has expressed his willingness to fight Davis whenever the opportunity arises. It can happen next year, Stevenson said. Whenever he says let's fight, that's when it's going to happen.
And I don't think that is a fight bigger than me and Tank. Maybe Bud and Canelo is like right there, but truthfully, like we speaking skill for skill and fight fans, the fight that fight fans really want to see, people that appreciate boxing, people that love the sport of boxing. That's the fight. So
this sentiment shows the eagerness of fans who want to see the fight as soon as possible. But in boxing, timing is always a critical factor. Fighters often wait for the perfect moment when they believe they are at their peak, or when the financial rewards of a fight are maximized. For Stevenson, though, it seems that he's ready to step into the ring against Davis at any time, signaling that both fighters are on a collision course that is hard to avoid.
It just was too high of a level for Frank Martin. I thought that Tank raised the level up, and Frank wasn't able to compete at that level.
Despite the verbal exchanges and the competitive spirit that exists between the two, Stevenson has shown nothing but respect for Gervonta Davis's abilities. Stevenson acknowledges that Davis is more than just a knockout artist. He's a smart, strategic fighter with a wealth of experience. He's strategic, he's setting guys up, Stevenson noted. He's been boxing since a little kid, just like I've been boxing since a little kid, and you can tell from the experience.
But it's gotta be more than that.
Nah, he's strategic. He's setting guys up. He been boxing since a little kid, just like I've been boxing since a little kid, and you can tell like what they expect.
This recognition of Davis's skill set adds a layer of intrigue to the fight. Both men have been honing their craft since they were children, and both have proven themselves at the highest levels of the sport. Davis's ability to set traps for his opponents and then capitalize on their mistakes is something Stevenson has been paying attention to. This admiration doesn't mean that Stevenson sees Davis as unbeatable, but it shows that he respects what Davis brings to the table and that he's preparing for a fight against a complete fighter, not just a knockout puncher.
When would you like to see that fight happen?
Whenever. I think that I'm ready for it, he ready for it, we both in our primes. It can happen next, it can happen next year, it can happen whenever he say, let's fight, that's when it's going to happen.
Stevenson also pointed to Davis's recent fight against Frank Martin as an example of his strategic prowess. Even with his last fight with Frank Martin, you could see Frank Martin was more so an amateur. Like the experience he got is not on the level of like Tank, and he just took off with experience. He let him waste his energy, gassed him out, and then round 8, it's time to go home, Stevenson said.
Experience. Even with his last fight with Frank Martin, you can see Frank Martin was more so an amateur. Like the experience he got is not on the level of like Tank, and he just took off with experience. He let him waste his energy, gassed him out, and then round 8, okay, it's time to go home.
This breakdown of the fight shows how much Stevenson studies his potential opponents. He sees Davis not only as a power puncher, but as a fighter who uses his ring IQ to control the pace of a fight. In the bout against Martin, Davis allowed his opponent to tire himself out before going in for the finish, a tactic that showcases his patience and tactical thinking. This level of analysis from Stevenson indicates that when these two finally meet, it will be a chess match as much as it will be a physical brawl. Well, what do you think? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more updates. See you in the next one.